And I'll say one thing. Both places, it's still one of something else, where they're doing, never gets done.
Know of a company that might want to go in there. And
Don't ask my wife. Rich has been a good neighbor and a good friend.
You think? He's like my father. Listen. Yeah, loving that. I tried to tell you this morning, you know what?
Well, we'll talk about.
Just trying to get it going, and I think just that's waiting to get.
No.
Did I miss anything?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
we're
A lot of this stuff.
planning the first two, sorry, right?
Yes.
Two subcommittees. Sick. Ill.
He's gonna try to make it.
And he's got to leave a little after 5, so.
Mike is sick,
You're doing a quick one?
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, the boss? Yeah. He texted me just before he pulled in, because he was gonna try to make it.
Are you trying to break it?
Said he was worse than he was this morning when he talked to me.
We were ready to cancel it because we didn't think you were coming. So there was just no way we could have had a meeting
There
without
was
you
a
here.
groundswell.
I mean, have you ever missed one? I don't even think you've ever missed one.
Herb blames me for missing committee meetings of the Water and Sewer Authority when I'm not even invited. Well, where were you? I wasn't invited. Well, we meet once a month. Well, where were you?
We got-
How do you answer that question? We meet once a month.
Now it's on my schedule. Now he wants me there. Now he wants me there.
Then you come, why the hell are you here?
Okay, is that before? We have a quorum. We'll call the meeting to order. Reading and approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. I move we approve them.
Second.
Motion
Can I,
made second.
oh, I'm sorry. I just have some deletions. Hey, so number one for the, not a huge thing, but for the people present, can we, the people that are physically here on one line, and then can we put in by Zoom or joined by showing that people were on the screen rather than here in the room? Designate.
I think going forward.
Yeah, that's number one. Number two, can for the second to last paragraph, a roll call vote was 8 in favor, 1 abstained. It should be abstained, and that my name should follow after that in parentheses, just so people know who abstained. And then last thing is on second page. First paragraph, the Eagle Drive reprehensive discusses It should be representative discussed. That's all, nothing big. That's all the changes I have.
Any? It's amended. Is it any further additions, correction, comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Vote. Carried. You up for this?
No.
Okay. Bills and communications.
The only bill we have is the NICEAG. For $200.
And I think you indicated you paid that electronically.
204.61. There are no new pilot payments. There are no new pilot distributions. Disbursements.
Let's see, Buffington and Hoagland, everybody's aware of that, correct? No,
I didn't know.
Oh, no,
They
no,
got
they're-
Bought out.
they merged, bought out any way you want to.
And their letter announcement to clients is in the packet.
Yeah, and it was well done. So I'm sure that this is more for information purposes.
Just to-
No changes, but I'm sure there'll be something down the road with regards to, since they are our accountants. With regards to what they'll do for us next year. The treasurer's report, Mr. Chairman, am I okay to go into that?
Motion to approve.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry. Yeah.
You gotta vote on the bill.
Just, I think just one bill.
Yeah, motion to approve the bills.
Move it.
There's a motion.
Second. Discussion on the bill.
What is a C?
We're gonna discuss that in executive session.
Oh.
It was a
So you're gonna
communication.
pay a bill there?
That's not a bill. No, it's just, the bill is just gonna be the NICEAG.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Correct? Yeah, the other one we're discussing executive session.
Yeah.
That's an estimate. Yeah.
All right, number 4, reports.
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Jen. Reported treasurer.
All right, treasurer's report, budget report, October 2022. Everybody's got that in front of them. Nothing out of the ordinary. We did collect the somebody help me out on my glasses, 3,800 from Aurelius IDA land rental. And then we had a disbursement of the 5,000, and that was to let's see, the CEDA. And then that's really about all the activity. At the bottom, you're looking at the deposits we have. And we're gonna have 1 or 2 CDs coming due down the road, but right now, as we did last month, we're keeping the money liquid, given the fact that we've got a project that we might need to use it for. Otherwise, again, very quiet as far as finances for us in October. As far as we need a motion on that, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Second. Thank you. Discussion on the report of treasurer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I'm gonna just.
What was the pilot disbursement, John?
There was no new.
There were no new pilots dispersed, but they were all dispersed last month.
Yeah,
Okay, collected and dispersed. Okay,
yeah, I come in, sign check.
okay, all right, so we're up to date on our pilots.
And I'm gonna do a jump, so that Dave don't have to hang around long. I'd like to introduce Dave Skank.
I appreciate it, Ray. Dave Skank, I'm the town of Springport supervisor. And as you know, we've got new residents in there that kind of like to take property off the tax rolls. And the county has been gracious enough to keep making us whole, the village and the town, for what goes off. But we see that is going to just start keep accelerating it. We're not going to end it. The feds have told us it's just a matter of time before their land application into trust is granted. It's a matter of when, not if. And so as of today, I guess everything just happened to us, so. I think an opportunity's come up, maybe we can help ourselves a little bit by building some tax base. And maybe get the county off the hook of making us whole all the time. Because it's just not fair to the working people, the people that are paying the property taxes for the services. And to this date, they have shown no inclination whatsoever to come and negotiate anything. They'll throw a carrot in front of you, I hope you bite on it, but it's for what they want, nothing for what you need or want. And that hasn't changed since Ray's dealt with them. I mean, that's just how it's been. So right now, I talked to a guy that's got a tract of land just outside the village, access to water and sewer, Route 90, and a nice road. He just had it remapped. There's approximately 170 acres there. Obviously, it's heavy clay being next to the lake, so it's not prime farmland. But he would sell us the whole thing, or the IDA, if the IDA would be gracious enough to look at property like that for some place to develop some industry, something that's going to be paying a little taxes. He has had inquiries off and on to sell little parcels, and he really doesn't want to do that. Usually you do that, you get yourself in the corner and the rest of it isn't worth anything. So
You end up with islands.
exactly. So we'd rather sell the whole thing to us if we could. Our town isn't fiscally conservative enough, even though we claim we're accused of being too conservative, but we don't have that kind of money. And I think we could get it reasonably. Again, there's about approximately 170 acres, approximately 145 tilled. And I think it would be fairly easy to work with them. Today, he even mentioned that if we're actually going to seed it down to grass hay for a neighboring farm in the spring, and he said he wouldn't be disinclined to hold some paper on it if that would be better, where he can just work the hay ground too, as if the IDA decided to do that and develop it. But it's not often that you have an opportunity like this. And again, I think we're going to have to help ourselves. Nobody's going to help us do it. And again, it's a burden to the county, and it's certainly a burden to our community. If unchecked, and if we don't do anything to counter it, the school system, the town and the village will be relegated just to a few acres for dairy cows. And that's kind of where we are.
I brought that up a couple of months ago. And I thought we were going to look at that.
I had Maureen talk with.
Yes, has she done anything? I heard.
I think she's on the screen.
I am on the call.
Okay,
Yep. I have talked to that property owner. I've gotten some specs on it. I think we're taking inventory at this moment of all the available parcels, and it would be good to know maybe what the IDA thinks of that land.
And you've got water.
Water and sewer there. We could actually run water from two different districts there. Got a road intersect in the middle of it.
did you not, Maureen, did you not discuss at one time the possibility of using that for development land for homes or something?
Yes, that is one option. It would be a suitable site for a housing development, bringing families there. There is a high need for housing in the Union Springs School District. That would also be a good use, but I do hear Dave Skank's, point about, bringing in some real revenue for the town. Either.
The IDA is interested in house development.
Right.
Right, that would be and we've been looking for a sizable piece of property for
Years.
years now.
I like to put John on the spot.
Go right ahead, Herb.
I brought up the possibility of looking at that property that the Cayuga Nation from Oklahoma owned, right on the main road. And you put me down awful bad that we would be crazy to own land
It
in
was
the Indian
hurtful.
claims area.
Well, thank you. I apologize for the hurtful comments. I don't remember, but but it does sound like me, right? No, I think my concern was, the clean deed. I mean,
That's why I brought it up. I think he's somewhat familiar. I don't think there's a problem with getting a clean title to land in that area.
There isn't. They've ruled on that. When I was stupid enough to buy our farm, I paid the county and Central a lot of money and mortgage insurance and everything else that wasn't worth the paper it's written on. But since they've ruled that, everybody's title is clean. And if the Indians want to buy anything, it's got to be from willing sellers. So that kind of put the end of that.
And
That's been several years, right, Dave?
Yes,
I bought a couple of farms and
exactly.
farm credit hasn't beat me up at all.
No, they backed right off that.
Herb,
But
make somebody an offer. No, I that was my concern, and you're right, as I recall, this is a little whiles back.
Oh, it was
back as right
maybe
after
over
the
a year.
casino. Well, it was more than that, several years. But that was my concern, is the clear title to the property.
But you're over that now, right?
Based on what David just said, yes,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
And I bought 3 or 4 pieces of property in that area and there's no claim. There was originally when I bought my first house, but now last 20 years.
No.
No.
And the thing is, I've tried to be proactive over the last couple of years and actually contacted different housing developers for that area, but they're either already in some place or closer to Rochester. And the biggest thing we get here is, I want to buy 1 acre and build a house, and that's just not going to help. You develop the road front, and that's.
Yeah, the housing's picked up, but I don't know, what, 5,000-6,000 a year,
Yeah, in our town.
and so you would never.
No,
Usually happens is they come in and they want to be on the road front,
yeah,
and then the rest of the land, the value is almost zero.
exactly. Now, they do have a spot down here on the dog leg down toward the little campground on the lake. We could parcel off or something or keep and have him keep. It would be a good development spot for that.
Your lake house?
No,
I couldn't
No.
remember.
no, it's right behind Hideaway Harbor, goes right behind there. But
The nice part too is, it's right on Route 90, but Backus Road is
already there,
so we already would be a road right through the
Yeah.
middle of it.
the Macadam Road, and to come there from the thruway, they wouldn't have to go through the village or by a school zone or anything else. It's out there where it'd be easy access, but I just thought that I'd present it here, that I think it's an opportunity that doesn't come up very often. And again, we could help our own community and our county as well.
Pass that around.
I'll leave the map. And I appreciate your audience. If you had any questions, and
Maureen, did you look at that at all with any kind of prospect of industrial development there?
Springport.
I haven't looked into the full
Springport.
water capacity, sewer capacity, those kinds of details. From what I understand from the owner, it has plenty of water and sewer, but I mean, knowing the types of industrial uses we come across, it would be wise to make sure we understand that completely if that's a parcel the IDA is interested in.
This and this.
This is
That's
90.
State Route 90. These are the harbors down here, marinas.
Okay, so this is
And this,
these two.
no,
Anything else, Dave?
no, that'd do it.
What's the new parts looking at?
He had mentioned probably twice of what farmland is going for, and I talked to him a little bit. Because when we were first originally talking about getting a developer there, And I told him he was too high. By the time a developer come in and did their own roads and all their infrastructure, electric, telephone, everything else, they couldn't come out of it. So he's backed off. So I think you'd get it, 10,000 or less easy enough, if you talk to him. And especially if he could, he'd be willing to hold some of the paper. He said he would be today, willing to talk about that. So I think it is doable. You never know, I guess, till you get into it, but that's an opportunity that I would hope you would pursue.
I know him very well, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else?
It's very
Dave?
nice you
Anything
brought it to
today?
us.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, thank
Thanks
you.
for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks for letting me come.
Lower guy.
Who's the
You too. Take care.
who's the owner?
Look.
Ed Steer.
Stan.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yeah,
STE.
sir.
HR.
You
Yes,
want to introduce yourself and
Sure,
we'll get you out of here.
awesome, thank
and
you.
we'll Finish our business.
So I'm Dave Norbert Solar Farms. I own the property just south of the IDA road there. I've met Bob on site actually a few weeks ago, and very nice meeting him and a few other gentlemen that came out to site to meet with me. And we kind of noticed there was a sinkhole in the road, and it seems like the IDA already has it on their agenda. It looks like 3B and 6C, which is great. And it's awesome that you guys are, recognizing that there's something there. I guess I'm just here to kind of introduce myself, and if there's anything we can do to obviously help out the IDA with the road and stuff like that, having equipment on site and everything like that, if there is something we can do to help out, I'm just kind of extending my hand to let you know that, we're there, and please let us know if there is something that we can help out with. And I do appreciate the action of, moving forward with that. I was just concerned mainly about, health and wellness to where the water is actually going. So I appreciate the action.
He's the one that presented this after the meeting last month.
He was not here.
No, I've never, this
Somebody
is the first
brought it
time.
up. That there was, I think, Bob or Andy, and Mike brought it up.
Mike,
Then Bob knew about it.
after the meeting would say, I got a hold. So what is the situation?
Well, there's a letter from their attorney that we're gonna discuss in executive, his attorney, that we're gonna discuss in executive session. We're not gonna discuss anything in open session.
All right.
And it's really, just to clarify the letter, it's really just because from a liability notice, that it's a notice from a liability standpoint. Once we noticed what was going on, we've put it out there. But I'm here at the board to really tell you that we're here to work with you and help if we can, and if you want us to, and if not, well, that's fine too. I appreciate it's on the agenda and things are moving forward, and really, I just wanted to come out and introduce myself, and I appreciate things are, moving forward.
What road has a problem?
The
It's an offshoot of Ellis Drive.
the one by behind Home Depot.
They with nobody on it.
No.
It's vacant.
Yeah.
And if there is a way that,
When Tracy was here, we blocked it off. So because it was a trash, it was
Yeah.
a dump.
there was the other thing, if there's,
There was a washout. And Doug has even bought the pipe from Soil and Water to fix it. But then we got involved with the sewer line. And we told Doug,
We need to fix it until we get through with that.
yeah. Yeah, the intent was to fix it, but then with the sewer projects and everything going on, we put that on hold to see.
Yeah.
If that was gonna be fixed by the sewer line.
Okay.
cool. And also the garbage that's back there and stuff like that, I mean, we don't have a problem with cleaning it up and stuff. We prefer to, if we could help to clean up the garbage, because usually with our developments, garbage brings more garbage,
Yeah.
because people are like, well, there's garbage here, so we'll just dump more. And so, I don't know what we would need to do to help with that, but I mean, we have no problem with going in there to clean up the couches, the
Yeah,
chairs,
it's a mess.
I mean, it's a disaster, and it seems like there's more people dumping there, so.
We put the barricades up.
Yeah, but they're going around, they just,
Ah,
they-
man,
yeah, it's, again, it's.
people are,
Well, once they.
I
see
think
it,
it's the
they
park
can
on the
just
other
leave it.
side. That when they move out or something like that,
Oh,
instead of
jeez.
getting rid of, they just dump it, but. If there is something that, you know, we would love to help clean that up, and if there's a way we could work together to make that happen, we'd like to do that, because we do believe that. When you clean things up, then people tend to stay away and not keep it, you know, so dirty anyways.
traffic nuisance,
Exactly, you know.
Oh, we should put more
barricades up there.
barricades up too, so people can't go around them.
They'll get around them.
Yeah, I think once we clean up our
One
side
time we had
too,
gates,
like in
somebody-
between the
somebody
two,
had
it will look,
gates.
you know, you're not in between the woods anymore. Now you're like in the open, you
You
know, and I don't think people, I think they'll be deterred a lot
But if
more.
we start that sewer in November like we're supposed to. well, we'll have-
Herb, you missed the meeting.
What?
It's done.
Done.
Sewer line.
Done.
Mark just put the shovel on the last
Yeah,
opening,
that's why we had
Mark Chambers put the shovel on the last one. Where have you been?
We might take- The thing about sound is already fixed.
Yeah, that's.
It's already done.
Already finished.
Notice that, and it's all cleaned up.
I,
Done.
different things, Herb, just,
You can't miss
FYI,
meetings,
but yes.
buddy. I mean, you can't.
If there's anything other than that, that's all. If anyone
Appreciate
has
it.
any questions for me, I'm
Thank-
happy to
thank-
answer. If
Thank
not,
you for being interested in that.
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. That's unfinished business. One we're done about it, update on sewer line.
Done.
Then executive session.
No, Mark,
Nope.
give a quick update.
Yeah, no, we actually, actually, I received about a half hour ago, 45 minutes ago from Brad Olin, the signed,
Thank you.
Thank you.
the signed settlement statement. So half of it's done, just got to be executed now by the board, and we have that passed us. So that's a good thing. The project itself, as far as the the plans and specs, were now we're ready to roll with that. I've had a lot of help through with Justin Ricardo on that, getting things settled and ready to roll. I think now we can put it out to bid now that we have the closure from Highlander as well too. Get it ready to roll this week if everybody's good with that.
Let's resolve that right now. At the last meeting, I think Justin wanted the chance to look at the bid things before they went out. Have you done that?
I sent him over the plans. The specs itself, I have not forwarded those over to you, Justin.
Yeah, we're gonna look at the form of contract, which should be part of the bid package itself.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need to take a quick look at that, just to make sure it tucks in well with the IDA's procurement policy and any other issues associated with the EDA grant. There's EDA grant specific language that they require in bid docs. We need to make sure that that's tracked in as well.
Okay, I'll send that over to you here in a little bit so you can take a peek at it.
Perfect, thanks. Yeah,
Okay,
that was some of the nuances before. EDA is very persnickety about their language being in bid docs. And this one's going to be a little interesting in terms of how we handle prevailing wage and stuff like that, IDA specific stuff that we'll just drop in there, make sure it's tracked in.
I'll get that over to you to take a peek at.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're gonna put that out to bid Friday or Monday?
I would think we'd be able to do that, don't you, Justin? I think everything looks good and get things tweaked up and how they have to be, to make them fit the EDA requirements. I think, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Okay, do we need to approve that?
The bid?
No, I think you already had. So I think you already
To
offered,
Approve him sending it out
yeah,
Friday?
because. No, I think you already approved in his engagement letter, which included going out to.
I know
Procuring going
that
out to
was
bid.
gonna be done in October. We were gonna open the bids in November and probably have the sewer in December. And we're still thinking about it.
Well, the issue was we had to settle that issue with Highland.
I know, I thought that was done 2 months ago, but nevertheless,
I thought it was done too, but then
but with I hate to put my back to them, but I'd rather look at you.
Kids, me, or
Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure if you're not looking at Gina, looking at Janet.
No question about that, but we are now assuming that the bids are going out Friday. Is that right?
Ask him.
We're
Yes.
Justin and Mark, we're assuming the bids will be out on Friday and you have a specific date that the bids have to be returned.
Yeah, I believe the EDA requirements are a 30-day bid period.
Okay, so if they go out Friday, it would be 30 days from Friday, right?
That's correct.
And, Mark and I spoke this morning, and we might have a special meeting after the bids come in, and his office gets a chance to review and give a recommendation to have a special meeting to accept it.
That would
accept
be
his
fine.
recommendation.
Okay, that went very smooth.
I have one other question too. Talking with Brad Olin, as far as the delivery of the pipe and the miscellaneous materials, as far as a location of where all of this should go. And I know that there was talk earlier about some county property, I believe that they were.
water, wasn't
Yes.
I think the
No.
agreement talked about the county highway department.
They had me call the highway superintendent and he, on the phone, gave me permission to store it there until it's used. Understanding it's not going to be indefinitely.
Because he'd like to get that done here in the next week or two, from what he was telling me today.
Sure. Yeah. We can have her make a call to the county highway superintendent and put you guys in contact, so. Because you're gonna have, Mark, you're gonna have somebody from your office be there when they get delivered, right?
Yes.
The check, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm sure the highway department, the head of the highway department will let us know where on site to have it dropped, right? You could be there, Herb, when it gets dropped.
I'm not gonna be-
Yes, you can.
I think we can coordinate that on our end as well too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Further questions? Ma'am, who is the lady on the screen? Ma'am?
Hi, yep, I'm Catherine Crumby. I'm at Harris Beach with Justin.
Yeah, Kat's joining me today.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I didn't catch her.
she works with Justin.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Just like Rick works for her.
You think he's not joking? Jesus.
Okay, C, or B, excuse me, CCDC loan, updated term sheet, Rick.
Well, in your packet, is a CCDC revised term sheet dated November 2nd, 2022. There was a motion made at our last meeting on October 18th. To see there, the motion was go forward with the loan. The terms being offered are fair and friendly. There will be no charge for 6 months on any drawdown, and there will be no application fees unless we draw down on the loan itself. So that was the motion made after some discussion at our October meeting, and I think
it was approved.
and Mr. Miller worked, I think, with Mr. Lynch. And there is the term sheet for your review and approval if you want. Authorized rate is the chairman to sign.
This is 5 pages. Is that the one I'm?
So, I mean, I'm just doing a quick review, $400,000. Interest rate of 4.75%. For a loan term of 1 year. Is it the grace period for? Monthly interest payments on the loan amortized at 12 months. Let's see. Balloon payment. I think at the end of the term, which I believe is 1 year. So the interest only payments are would be 1,583.33. Late penalty of 5%. Application fee, CCDC charges a flat fee of $1,500 for all loans at or above 150K. And that was unchanged from the prior draft that was given to us a year ago. Legal fee, reasonable legal fees for closing costs and some security.
Rick?
Yes.
Because I sit on both boards, but I just want to make sure, can you confirm? Because if we're looking, last sentence in that paragraph in our minutes, it says
No application fee.
no
Yes.
application fee, but
And here it says
it says
1,500. So
1,500, so just, can we make sure that check with Steve to make sure that we're on the same page?
And John, the interest is only on the amount that you draw, not on the full 4,000.
Yeah, I'm not, Herb, I'm not gonna speak to that because I'm on both boards, but
That's why we're asking you to speak on it.
yeah, where is the interest? Should be, I'm assuming, what does it say here? I'm not involved in this.
Rick listed, named an amount that the interest is gonna be. That's what made me ask the question, but the interest really is only on what we draw.
Right.
I would like John to say
up
this,
to
right?
6.
The one that will say that, or we should be asking is Steve, because I'm not part of the discussion.
That wasn't part of it either, because I'm
Well,
general
that's-
counsel.
I don't know, you want, we've already approved what we approved at our last meeting,
Yeah.
which you just read the language of that.
But this
So
is a
there's
little bit
nothing for us to do, but anyway, whoever questions him about it, just make sure that we're.
I don't know if it reads that way,
would
because it
be
says,
our attorney.
yeah, it says the interest only monthly payment will be 1,583.33.
I know, but
I know, which is different than what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
And that's
my,
why,
my concern is
I
we
bring up-
only pay interest on the money that we actually.
That's not what it
accept.
implies though.
It doesn't.
It implies.
So we can have,
up to 200K.
Mr. Miller, when he feels better, contact Steve, and so so the interest only would be on the interest of what of our draw of the outstanding,
The
yeah.
interest will only be charged on what money we actually draw.
I'm just,
That's thinking.
oh, yeah. I'm agreeing with you. I'm not saying that's what
And-
what it means. I'm
And
just,
no application fee or because that's slightly different. This document says $1,500. Application fee for all loans at or above 150. Now, we don't know if we're gonna reach 150, but you're gonna have access of up to 400, but the motion passed in October said no application fee. So that's why I read it.
But then that's another discussion to have with,
So I don't think we're ready to approve any of this.
no, we've done.
We've done it.
I think we've
I'll-
done the only thing we're going to do, and then we'll see whether we need to draw the money or not.
Okay,
Then we can, and.
so the two things I'll ask
Those
Mr. Miller to
things
contact
need
Mr.
to be
Lynch.
brought up, but we're not, it's not critical until we know whether we draw the money.
Got it.
Well, we are interested in moving forward.
Hey,
let me just, Ray, for a second.
Sure.
Are we signing or moving forward with this? The loan? Because if we are, we're signing a document, we're not,
No, it said we're interested in moving.
okay, but we're not signing the document yet.
No, we gotta get.
Okay, yep.
Steve's netted out, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I just didn't want, you're just saying more to think that we're. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. We want to be friendly.
We're very friendly.
That's why we have each one.
PG Auburn MOD LLC and CMI LDA closings. Both the hospital and the IDA projects, they've been closed.
Yeah, we closed the hospital project right around the turn of the month. That went smoothly, and both of the land development agreements for Cuba Milk and Eagle Drive Holdings closed the same week. So the IDA, it'll be reflected probably on the November financial statement that John will go through, but it was a good month for the IDA so far. So.
Thank you. Any questions? See the updates. Mike's not here. I know that they've been trying to interview some people for a couple of positions.
Oh, no. No, well.
The qualifications haven't been up to the standards they're looking for. I don't know if that's the latest update.
This morning. If she knows.
Oh, Maureen.
Because Maureen's here.
Maureen, do you know any update?
I'm sorry, your question is about CETA staffing?
Exactly.
Updates.
Any
Um,
updates?
no, I would leave any updates about CETA staffing up to Mike. But as far as other IDA projects, I mean, there are definitely some coming down the pipeline and things that we're working on.
Okay. New business.
Before she goes,
Sure.
we have been discussing the possibility of trying to buy something for years, and we don't get any place at all. And I suggested that one time that some way we try to get Gina to do that, because that's her business, but anyway, I don't think we are getting any place.
I agree.
We've named a number of places, not very many. The two places we were the most interested in, both have been sold. And then we discussed seriously looking at the land next to the park that we have. That is it Mrs. Webster owns? Is that not right?
Yes, Nancy.
Has anybody checked on that?
Maureen, but have you talked with her? I asked you the other day.
I got the impression that that needed to be strategically handled, so I was waiting for some input.
What did she say?
Would you
I
repeat
said-
that?
I was under the impression that that land had to be strategically handled, and I was waiting for some input on that.
I don't understand what that means.
I mean,
we
it's
Do this in executive,
Executive.
do this in executive, Herb?
yes.
She can't find someone who has the ability to sell it. Is that what she's saying?
No.
No, but
She can't find someone that has the ability to speak with the property owner.
so.
It's
I
something that we
recommend
should
go in
just,
executive.
yes.
Let's have Maureen stay for the first part of the executive session to
Yeah.
talk about the potential purchase of real property.
We're gonna have a long executive session.
No, we're not.
No, we're.
Bob's gotta go.
Okay, before he goes, I just have to, don't go.
Well, Bob's not going anywhere. Hold off, Herb.
We are in a situation where we do not have an agreement with CETA as to what percent of what money they get out of projects that we do. The agreement
We
with them.
do have an agreement.
No, we
It is
don't.
in place.
No, it is not. It's not been signed for over 2 years.
It expires in 2023.
It was not signed in 2021. We do not have a current signed agreement with CETA.
Is that true?
Yeah, there is now.
Is
It's
that
not-
administrative or are we going to? All right, well,
Another topic. for
According
another
to-
topic.
Laura-
That's another topic for
Executive
executive session.
Well,
Tracy could not find one in her records. I couldn't find one in mine that was signed.
you're right, or
But
this
let's-
would be a long executive
Yeah.
session. But
Let's
that
go
needs to
exec-
be, that needs to be
Okay.
resolved.
I-
I'm not sure that CETA is. Executive session.
Eg-
Executive session.
Is there anything we should close out before I'm going to?
Just abundant assignment and modification.
Sure, yeah.
Who's that? That's Justin? Yep.
Yeah, the solar project that the IDA assisted with on County House Road, it's the county's old landfill and the jails there. We closed the project over a year ago, and since that time, it's been assigned once through an ownership change. They contacted us in the last month and indicated that the facility is built, which is good news. In the process of construction, the fences that were constructed around the facility didn't match the lease lines from the county. So they're looking to amend the county ground lease, which in like kind, we will have to follow through amending the lease back in your pilot mortgage. So the first part of this resolution speaks to simply adjusting the lease lines. About 2 acres is actually being removed. And the other part is another assignment that is occurring as a part of their tax credit equity financing. When that occurs, when they bring in tax credit equity, they need to enter in a new partner who will take the tax credit equity and use it elsewhere. So we prepared a resolution that authorizes the revision to the IDA documents and consents to the assignment that's going on within their business. They're bringing in a new 99% partner. Quickest way to summarize it. We've told them that we would have the IDA take a look at this today for approval and work with the county. Rich Graham at the county attorney's office will be coordinating a closing on the county amendment and our amendment at the same time, hopefully in the next week or so.
Does he want a motion on that? I would move that we have no problem with the county and them changing the amount of property there. And let them and the county work that out, and then we would approve what they do. But I use terrible English on purpose. The names change and no more names as to who's doing it. It's either the people who applied or they don't get any tax credit.
It's every one of them that we've done.
Yes, we're never changing them names again. Okay, I make the motion that we.
But there's a prepared resolution that is in the packet. Is
Do I have to
are
read
you
it?
authorizing that as described by Justin?
I haven't read that.
Okay.
I've tried to be plain. I'm making a motion to approve any change in the property that the county agrees with.
But that's, so Justin, can that happen, based on what Mr. Marshall is saying? That we cannot change a name, or can that, A, is that legal, and B, is that something that needs to be put into this resolution before we vote on it?
Yeah, the resolution that we prepared speaks to the amendments, which the county is in favor of, and also authorizes the change in ownership of the company. There's no name changes. It's still Abundance CC3 or whatever it is. It's just their parent companies are changing. If there's a motion to, well, first we need a motion on this resolution. And if there's a conversation or discussion about revising it, I guess that would need to be brought through an amendment.
Justin, you need to explain a little bit better to
Well,
me
let's-
what you mean by changing the name of the company.
So I move to approve the prepared authorizing resolution.
There's a second.
Would it say encompass his motion?
Well,
No.
Justin wants some, once you get a second, then we can discuss it and see if there's an.
Herb didn't get a second.
That's something new. I would second it, so you can start.
Thank you.
All right,
Now,
now discussion.
Justin, I do not understand what you mean by changing the name of the parent company, as whether that affects the name of the people who are actually doing the project out there.
In a way, no. There's a request letter that they sent in that has exhibits to it that show an ownership chart that is 6 or 7 LLCs deep. Right now, the company is Abundant Solar Power CC3 LLC. It's owned by a company that's called Solarize New York Holdings LLC, which is largely run through a sponsor called True Green Capital. Those are the folks that we worked with most recently, and they will continue to be the sponsor. But when they are bringing in tax credit equity, that means instead of borrowing money from a bank, a larger firm is coming in to provide funding for the project. Instead of Solarize New York Holdings LLC owning 100% of the company, it's going to be owned by something called Solar Energy Fund 3 Partnership 2 LLC.
It's not uncommon that they sell these, right?
It happens all the time and it's tiresome. I have the same sentiment as her, but.
Right, it's the nature of the business. I think that's what yeah.
It's just that it's frustrating for IDAs across the state. I'm dealing with it all the time. You get the early wave of developers who need to transfer these things 2 and 3 times. It's better to have it matured a little bit and have them come to you later in the game, but this was an example of an earlier model where there was 2 companies ago really came to us first.
So Justin, number one, I'm assuming they are not getting any additional benefits from us. Correct?
That's correct.
And number two, in there somewhere, I'm assuming, or if not, then we should put in there that they are responsible for any and all fees, including your legal fees to do all this.
That's correct. The resolution has a condition that they pay all IDA fees. So anything that we incur as transaction counsel or anything that Rick incurs as the general counsel, they'll have to pay in order to perfect the amendments and the assignment.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Well, I'm opposed. So Herb, what they're saying is you're gonna allow ownership change. Right?
I think it's pretty
It's
common.
it's common. It's, yeah, I
Is it
mean,
in our interest though?
It may be common, but it's not accepted.
Well, a lot of times these companies will create names that are specific to project.
Yeah.
right.
And that's the reason they do that, so they can assign the credits to that are coming off a specific project. And
Yeah, do everything.
Justin, before we end up voting on that, have you had any involvement in the big solar project that the state just approved in the town of Conquest?
Personally, no. I know that there's something big down there that has been going through the state. And my assumption that was that it would come to us at some point here at this level, but I
But
haven't seen it yet.
you've not heard that it has come to us yet, right?
That's right.
Okay, that's what my question was. That's fine.
There is some coming this way though.
Yeah.
So I guess I would ask with your why you do not want to allow the name change. I mean, before we vote,
I believe that when they apply for the benefit, we should know who we're dealing with, and we should investigate whether we think that they're an acceptable company to have the benefit in our area or not. And if a front company does it, and once they get the benefit, they immediately sell it to somebody else or whatever legal process there is to change names of the companies. To me, that leaves us out of our job of making sure that the company that applied for it is a company that we feel comfortable doing these projects in our area. You don't have to agree. Nobody agrees with me hardly ever anyway, but.
no. I was just curious, Herb, why you did.
I think we should know who we are. We had Duke Energy come up and apply for one.
Mhm.
And they're a bunch of real crooks. Neither here nor there. And I told them they were, and we resolved my concern with Duke Energy, but I think that's the way we should be able to do them, that the people who are going to manage and run it should be the people who apply for the benefit. And then if it's a company that we really feel have a really bad record, we don't give them the benefit.
Justin, we have that, because I've asked that before in our pilot agreements. We do have the ability to withhold transfer of benefits.
Yeah, that's exactly where we're at right now. Just to provide you with an example, I'm dealing with a project up in the North Country that was built 15 years ago. A giant wind farm, 100 separate turbines. And the way that the project documents were drafted way back when, the company doesn't even need to tell the agency if it sells itself. So they've had a situation where the IDA doesn't even know where to send an invoice to, or who's on the other side of the phone line. Our documents over the years have evolved to require IDA approval for any traditional sales where the actual asset changes hands. But also anytime more than 50% of the company's ownership interests change hands. And that's exactly where we are today. We've kind of prompted them to come to you for this consent. So you get that look and you get that sense of who's on the other side of the transaction. If this is approved, we'll have an assignment and an assumption agreement finalized and signed by them and by the IDA and the seller. And they deliver a general certificate that shows who owns what, who that company is, who the tax credit equity investors are. So you have a continuing sense of who your client is long-term. So that's where we are today. In the worst case scenario, sometimes, and historically, IDA transactions would just change hands without even an IDA, notice. In this case, they're, I believe, coming to the IDA for the last time now that it's fully constructed and the tax credit equity financing is scheduled to close. This is the final team, if you will. So we've kind of gotten to the end of the road here with ownership changes on this particular solar project.
So in your experience, I mean, what possible drawbacks could there be in doing this? I mean, is it greater exposure risk to us? I mean, what? If
No,
we do
nothing.
this,
Yeah, nothing changes from the IDA's perspective. You still have the same named LLC, Abundant Solar Power. CC3 is the client. It's just they have a separate ownership team above them. As part of that, though, True Green Capital's deploying the project now. They're still the face of the project. They're the sponsor. So the folks that, Maureen or Michael or any of, Chris, any of the IDA staff engage with, that's not changing. It's just kind of an upper tier tax credit, tax equity change. And our documents require them to tell us whenever this happens, and we have to approve it and bless it before it occurs.
thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh,
I,
motion carried.
Yeah, thank you. I'll have a follow-up with staff. There's just some clarifications on an LLC name here I want to adjust before it gets certified by your new acting secretary. I'll follow up after the fact.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
December annual meeting, nominating committee. You want to have just a regular meeting at regular time? Do we want to have a lunch meeting? Herb's always been in charge of the nominating committee. Gina?
This year you got nominating and lunch, Herb. That's a
at the
lot.
same time, yes.
Oh, I think we always do it, so why don't we keep doing it, right?
Yeah,
To do lunch?
I second that.
We traditionally gone to Springside. I don't know, I do. How do you know if you're going lunch or
I don't know.
I get a hold of that?
Yeah. I'm sure they would for a crowd, like party.
Okay. If you want, I can get a hold of that.
Check on it.
Same date, same time as our normal date.
Unless that doesn't work for somebody.
Well, usually it's been lunch at 4 o'clock.
Right, that's on that.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that also be when the bids, I think, come in?
How excited.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It's 30 days from today.
So can we?
Pass the mashed potatoes and the spreadsheet.
I mean, why 2 meetings? We're gonna have,
Well, a glass of wine with it, Jack.
yeah.
Okay, then,
That works out.
okay. Your self-evaluation forms in your packet,
I swear I've done this.
if you could, at some point, you can turn in. ADO training, November 30th, 9:30. December 9:30, December 14th, 9:30. Chamber Holiday Party, Lion National Bank, November 30th. Executive session.
I'll move to go into executive for discussion of.
Possible litigation, sale or purchase of, or lease of real property, and contract negotiations. Second covers it.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? We're in.
Well, not yet.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
See you,
Mark.
Mark.
Mark, copy me on your email. Oh, he's gone. All right.
So our
I
next,
gotta get up for you too.
Yep.
Our
maybe the
next-
First item, when she's ready, would be to, for Maureen. Talk to Maureen about that. Let us know when you're ready.
Hi, guys. Are you waiting for me?
No, we're
1
waiting.
second.
Okay.
Sure, it's. On screen.
It still says live.
No, that's,
Okay.
Is Maureen there?
hold on.
No, we lost Maureen.
No, YouTube is still there. I don't know why he's saying stop because of that.
So that was legal, what I created a file for the sewer project time. So maybe. No, maybe let's give me first for that. Because you know what I mean, rather than Mike go